welcome back to One Idjit's Thoughts on Podcast. This is Paul Mackey with another episode of Gravity Falls. This is day 23 of the Dog Days of Podcasting, and I had another fairly ordinary work day, but now I really want to get this done so I can go out and attempt to make some money in the second job, driving a little bit of Uber or Lyft. So I'm going to jump right in again to the next episode, which is Gravity Falls, Season 2, Episode 13, Dungeons, Dungeons, and More Dungeons. A brief summary. A quiet afternoon is interrupted by something escaping the basement and Ford subduing it. Dipper says that he thinks he could really be a help, but Ford says no, and Stan later says so too. Ford is dangerous, and Dipper should stay away. As Mabel writes a letter to her parents, we see a montage of the town cleaning up after all the gravitation fluxes. Dipper comes in saying he's found a copy of Dungeons, Dungeons, and More Dungeons, a role-playing pen-and-paper stats game at the store. He tells Mabel some of the process, and she says it sounds like Homework, the game. Apparently Seuss isn't interested. He does LARPing with Blubs, Durland, and Toby Determined. Stan comes in and also begins making fun of the game. Dipper winds up trying to play with Gompers the goat. His 38-sided die, snub cube, rolls down a hole in the foundation with Dipper falling afterward, and he ends up in the basement where Ford chews him out about being down there until he notices Dipper picking up his die. Apparently Ford was a fan of the game from way back, and they wind up playing together. After they talk through different versions of the game over the years that Ford missed while he was away, Dipper gets inquisitive about what's on the other side of the portal and what Ford is working on. Ford, possibly to distract Dipper, shows off his infinite-sided die that can do unpredictable things. It's kind of an infinite probability generator if you look at it a certain way. Stan, Mabel, and Grenda prepare for a TV finale, but the TV room has been taken over by Ford, Dipper, and the game. Stan complains. Ford says he might have fun if he tries it, and Stan says he would never play the game. He throws the dice bag, dislodging the infinity die, and inadvertently rolling it. It lands on the image of the wizard Probabilitor, bringing him and his henchmen to life. Dipper hopefully asks if they're the smartest players he'd ever met, so he'll send them on a quest. The wizard replies that they are the smartest, so he's going to eat their brains. The wizard takes the two of them off into the woods. Stan, Mabel, and Grenda take up arms to follow. The wizard says they can rescue their family members by defeating him in the game. He shrinks Dipper and Ford down to fit on the board and releases a couple of similarly sized monsters to battle them. The deal is, beat Probabilitor and he goes away, lose, and he eats their brains. They play, and Dipper shouts they need to use risks and imagination, and Mabel tells Stan it's just like lying. They make good progress, until finally the wizard calls forth the Impossibeast that was only playable in 1991 and 92, and proved too OP, so they banned it. The only win against it is a natural 38. Stan winds up, rolls, and gets the 38. The wizard howls and fades away, and we see Stan has cheated. Back at the shack, Stan relents a little bit, seeing that Ford and Dipper have a lot in common. Later, Ford reveals he has dismantled the portal, but found an interdimensional rift that the reactivation of the portal created. Ford has it contained for now. He gets Dipper to swear not to tell anyone about the rift, and then sends him to bed. Is that okay? Something protective under his tunic. He's not talking special weaponry, is he? Protection of special weaponry. Okay, and my favorite line. And... Gotcha!
Great, now get it out of here! Smells like if death could barf.
Who is? Well, shout out to Weird Al, obviously, as the wizard, but I'm going to look at Fred Tatasciore, who played the voice of the ogre. Fred Tatasciore is exclusively a voice actor who started out working dubbing foreign films like Jackie Chan's Project A, then moved into dubbing anime, and today he works video games, movies, and television. He specializes in deep voices and has an impressive IMDb page listing 993 previous credits, rounded out by 7 upcoming projects. He's played Hulk and Beast multiple times on the Marvel side, as well as Solomon Grundy for DC. I'll do a little bit of the usual listing, but I'll have to choose somewhere random to stop with a list this long. He is the voice of the Yeti for Expedition Everest at Disney World. Feature films with his voice include Meet the Robinsons, Enchanted, Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, Zombievers, The Angry Birds Movie, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. On TV, selected shows include Family Guy, Robot Chicken, Phineas and Ferb, Adventure Time, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, Supernatural, The Animaniacs Revival, Teen Titans Go, and Star Trek Lower Decks. What worked? It was zany and wacky, and it pulled everyone into the weirdness. What didn't work? Really? The portal was a one-time use only, and there was only one other side, and we don't get to see that? I'm hoping some kind of flashback story happens if that's all true. Next time is Gravity Falls Season 2, Episode 14, The Stanchurian Candidate. So does Stan have sleeper agent programming from his rough past lurking inside his head? Happy hunting! You've been listening to the One Idjit's Thoughts On podcast, produced by Paul Mackey in association with Nimlas Studios. Any short clips of audio from shows is included under fair use for commentary purposes, and copyright for that content remains with its original copyright holders. The theme song is Too Good by Jack Mangan and is used by his generous permission. One Idjit's Thoughts is produced under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 international license. You can find more episodes of this podcast and many other fine podcasts at nimlas.org. You can contact me by emailing idjitcastpodcast@gmail.com or commenting on episodes at nimlas.org. Great. Now I've got ducks with guns to add to my irrational fears list.